One of the worst drivers ever to race in IndyCar, especially in the IRL era, was without a doubt John Herb. He grew up watching races at the famous Milwaukee Mile and always dreamed about being an IndyCar driver someday. His path to getting to the Indy Racing League was a bit unorthodox. Instead of working his way up the ladder in Indy Lights, he made 20 ARCA Remax Series starts from 1998 to 2001, where in those 4 seasons he failed to score a single top 10.
Trouble here on the front stretch. It's the 19 car in trouble. That's John Herb making his first ARCA start here this afternoon. Got a badly torn up race car. So does Kurt Dickey in the white 98 and the 79 of Charles Schaefer. That race car hurt very badly.
Oh, well, you got a crash. Norm Benny comes off turn 4, spins around. Oh, when we see another car, is that Rich Woodland? 47 car of John Herb has run in the wall off turn 4. There is the 47 car of Herb, who has bounced off the outside wall there. The incident happened right in front of him, bringing out caution for the 3rd time today here on lap 100.
This is the 53 coming by, Robert Burrows at the wall, 65, now driven by Mike Harmon. I think the other car is the 47 of John Herb.
I'm sure somebody just gets in the back of somebody and turns them dead into the fence.
Yep.
Yeah, these cars at the back.
See, black car didn't go.
No. What happens when you're at the back? You're anticipating the start.
You're probably wondering at this point, how in the hell did he end up getting an Indy Racing League ride? From what I was able to gather, he did also make some select USAC starts during this time, so I'm going to assume he somehow finessed somebody into giving him a ride. He made his series debut in 2000 at Walt Disney Speedway driving for Brad McCormick Racing and ended up DNFing. In 2001, he was set to run full-time for TriStar Motorsports, where in his first start with the team, he caught on fire less than 10 laps in. As you could have guessed, the rest is downhill from here.
Oh, they are, and another caution.
Hold that pace, Carl. We'll get it next time around.
Car is slow in the backstretch. That appears to be John Herb.
He has stopped down by the inside of the racetrack, so he's well out of the way of anybody else who comes around. You can see as he heads down that corner, something happened to the car in front of him. He did touch the left rear to the right rear, or his left front to the right rear of that car in front of him.
That was Greg Ray.
It does look like Greg Ray. I think you're right.
Yeah, that was Greg Ray. Well, John Herb is out of the car, and he's saluting the fans. Jack?
He didn't even last 5 races with the team. After a practice crash at Texas, they decided it was time to part ways, as they were as low as 27th in owners points. They were in desperate need of a driver that could actually help them make it through the rest of the season. He ended up finishing out the season with PDM Racing, where he actually finished the races, scoring an 18th and his best career finish of 9th place at Texas. In 2002, John Herb decided he was going to form his own Indy Racing League team. Racing Professionals did a total of only 8 races during the 2002 season, where Herb scored a best finish of 11th at Phoenix and a 19th place finish at Fontana. His orange and black car was without a doubt very hard to miss on track. Unfortunately, in more ways than one, because those 2 best finishes I just mentioned ended up being the only races John Herb completed all season.
In row 13, John Herb is replaced out of the field with a practice crash this morning.
Whoa.
That's his
Right,
front
that baby
wing.
nose high.
That's a little nose high. His front wing is stuck underneath the car. That's something that you generally don't see very often.
Yeah, but, you know, put your memory back to, as we're going to look at the replay, remember Johnny Rutherford when he ran over his own wheel and flipped upside down at Phoenix while winning the championship?
An incident has once again brought out the caution flag here at Indianapolis, halting the practice for the moment. That's the number 16 T car driven by John Herb. Just pushed out, coming off the corner, Scott, and will have a pretty significant contact with the wall. Boom, there it is.
Just a little bit outside of the groove and maybe not getting the car turned well enough going into the turn.
That was a very gentle, he got himself, like you said earlier on, Christian, up on those marbles, and he just couldn't do anything about it. He just drifted to the top of the wall.
Unfortunately, I mean, this is John Herb, and John's a nice guy, but he is a back marker perennially.
Oh, and into the wall, it's Herb. Coming off turn 4. Well, he was 69 laps down.
In his 6 starts in 2002, Herb had an average finish of 16.3 and failed to make that season's Indy 500. 5 DNFs in just 6 starts. Absolutely brutal. For the next few seasons, he took a bit of a hiatus from Indy cars and moved down to Indy Lights, where he should have started in the first place. From 2004 to 2006, he made a total of 23 starts, with 2005 being his only full-time season. This would be his most successful season, where he ended up scoring not only 2 podiums, but one of those podiums ended up being a win at Phoenix. But that success was short-lived, because once he decided to race in the IndyCar series again, it was back to square one. He failed to make the 2006 Indy 500, but once 2007 rolled around, he ended up making 3 starts.
Trying to see who it is, and it is the 19 of John Herb. So John, who is in his second Indianapolis 500. 2001, he crashed on lap 104, and he crashes here.
Same situation we saw before. When you get outside that black where all the rubber is, then the grip is for your race car, he ended up just getting a little bit too high. It looked like he actually approached the cars that were in front of him. They must have slowed down for some reason. You see how he's got speed coming on the 2 cars that are just in front of him? Had nowhere to go, just had to get high out of the groove, Rusty, and once you do that, you're just a passenger.
A problem with John Herb, fellas.
And he has crashed in pit lane, and that has brought out the yellow here, which will be a break for some. And Tony Kanaan is already in. Now we'll have to wait and see if he can finish his stop. Take a look and see what happened to the 19 car.
Well, just remember, he's a rookie in one sense. He's had some races underneath his belt, but this is all sort of new to him. Trying to get down to the 60 miles an hour once you enter the pit lane, because that's a speed limit once you enter into the pit lane itself.
And we've had a crash, and it looks like it is the 19 of John Herb. John had already gone a total of 3 laps down, and he had a crash earlier the weekend.
He wrecked in all 3 of his starts that season, meaning that he hadn't completed an IndyCar race since 2002. After this crash, John Herb never raced an IndyCar again. In 16 starts spanning 5 seasons, John Herb DNF'd in 12 of them. He was a straight up loser on the track. And if you think I'm being a little too harsh in this bus video, trust me, you're not going to care about that because of what I'm about to tell you. In October of 2013, John Herb was charged with 246 counts of CP involving a 4-year-old girl. Let me say that again. A 4-year-old girl. Those CP images and videos were actually found by his now estranged wife, who immediately took it to law enforcement. The girl described gruesome details which included taking baths with him, as well as performing, well, as you can see from this article clip, you read in between the lines. In the end, he was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Along with being an Indy Racing League and ARCA driver, he is also a convicted sex offender. John Herb is without a doubt one of the worst human beings ever to race on the professional level. Because this happened in Florida, the current law is that he has to at least serve 85% of his sentence. It's good knowing that if he ever gets out someday, fans will remember him not only being completely horrible on track, and if he's ever released back into society, we as a society can continue to shame him for being a terrible human being. John Pedo Herb is one of the biggest busts and most terrible people to ever step foot in an IndyCar. And once again, that'll do it for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.